Hello, I'm Brabazon, and thank you for the opportunity to present this visual artefact to capture, to explore, to investigate my trajectory, my pathway through the Masters of Leadership, but particularly a focus on one particular course, Leadership Challenges. So thank you for the opportunity to present this visual moment in what is frequently a textual degree. Leadership Challenges is an intriguing module that investigates and presents a research training suite. And of course, this research training suite is in preparation for the capstone subject that is coming shortly, that is a dissertation of about 14,000, 15,000 words in length. So the video that I would like to present today focuses on three areas of consideration as I review my assignments in this course and I review the course itself. And the three variables I would like to discuss today are methodology, the literature review, and the role and the place of theory. Now, certainly the attention to methodology is welcome. We live in a time, we've just survived a presidency that the president tweeted their way through their presidency, so an attention to methodology and rigour and transparency and validity is certainly welcome. But what is lacking in this subject is a relationship between methodology, epistemology and ontology. There's a strong focus on methodology, but without the other two arms of the research beast. And without these three key theories taught to students, and with methodology offered in isolation, it can create a slippage for students, and that slippage is between obviously methodology and methods, and that can lead to a slippage between the empirical and empiricism. The second area of consideration for this course that I've been thinking about is the role and the place of the literature review. Now, firstly, the nature of a literature review as a genre, as an oeuvre, cannot be assumed. There is, to be frank, no such thing in any discipline as a singular genre of a literature review. The literature review can be, and increasingly is, iterative through a research project and can be embedded. You can indeed have an embedded literature review that's embedded in the wider topics and nodes for discussion. And of course, also in applied social sciences, of which leadership studies is a very strong part, scoping reviews are also used, and increasingly when we're dealing with health leadership, systematic reviews are deployed. And because these three subjects, the three assignments in this subject were very short, it meant that simply a whisper of a literature review was required. It was more of a scoping review, but a scoping review in 250 words. So we need to think more overtly about how to teach a literature review. In Leadership Challenges, most of the topics that I'd imagine most of the students are researching, and as we saw it in the array of fora posts that existed as well, most of the topics that colleagues are investigating have a huge interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and indeed post-disciplinary literature. So interdisciplinary and post-disciplinary literatures are quite difficult to capture in a reified literature review. So without a full presentation of a literature review, noting that in the traditional applied social sciences, a literature review is at a minimum about 6,000 words and can certainly go up to 8, 10, 12,000 words. Once you haven't quite got that literature review in place, it means that locating the gap in that literature becomes much more problematic. So therefore it becomes increasingly difficult to determine a research question if you haven't determined precisely the research gap in the field or the area you are investigating. And my final commentary about the research training that's been put in place through Leadership Challenges is the lack of recognition, the lack of awareness, and the lack of visibility of the theoretical or interpretive research project. You know, we all know there's the holy trinity of research methods, the qualitative, the quantitative, mixed method, that's great, and they were the options that were presented, and they were presented well. But my argument is that the capacity for a high theory paper, a high theory project to address research challenges was never even presented as an option. So it was never presented as an area of knowledge for consideration. And to quote the late great Steve Redhead, we live in theoretical times. So the idea that we're not presenting the opportunity for a theoretical paper in theoretical times is something, I think, for further consideration. So noting these three challenges or issues that emerged, I certainly enjoyed the reading. It was refreshing for me to go again into applied social sciences. I enjoyed that, and to see an alternative guide through research training. And certainly I look forward, I really do look forward to completing my capstone on theories of leadership as they exist in the Vice-Chancellorship in Australian universities. I'm really looking forward to that research. And look, I will be using Goffman's presentation of self. I will be using Baudrillard's double refusal, and there is a very interesting, small but interesting literature that aligns Goffman and Baudrillard, and I didn't know that alignment existed before I enacted the reading in this subject. So what I'm trying to do is understand the changes to higher education after COVID and the changes to leadership after the global financial crisis. I'll align these two variables with the imperative of revisioning leadership in our universities. Thank you for your time.